Alright, folks, we're back. And... oh, that messed things up. There we go. We're back, and luckily this lobby didn't take 5.5 hours to get up and running. We actually have it good to go. It's going to be a ZvZ with Bly versus TomikuS. We hop into this best of 3 in the round of 8. Of course, after this will be the semifinals, and what's interesting is to the north side of this match, we've got Mana versus Kerr. Now, I'm clearly cheering for Mana, and I hope you guys are as well. Kerr is actually a really, really old player who has had some notoriety in his past, but was not a bad player. But I think for me, to test everything, I would love to see Bly versus Mana in those semifinals. Oh, and we should have policed the colors. That as well.
Whoopsie. Whoopsie.
Alright, well, colorblind folks, there's actually nothing we can do about it since we're already in game, but I'll try to keep a note of this for all the matches going forward. Spawning in the bottom right, though, here in the round of 8 of the Corsair Cup, we've got the blue Zerg. It's Bly.
In the bottom left, as the teal Zerg, he's TomikuS.
I'm having a truly mind-blown moment right now. Because the Holy Pale says we actually pronounced his name correctly.
What?
I knew eventually just by shotgunning silly pronunciations.
Yeah, it's
one
like
day. Statistically speaking, it's like that thing where it's like if you've got an infinite amount of monkeys typing on an infinite amount of typewriters, eventually they'll randomly type out Shakespeare's play or something like that.
I've never heard that theory, but that's super interesting.
Have you not heard that? It's just, it
No.
talks about probability and stuff, like randomly mashing on the keys at some point they'll have typed out the entirety of Shakespeare's play. But I feel like that's my logic when it comes to pronouncing some of these subnames.
I've never heard that. That is super interesting. We did have a bit of an earlier pool for Bly, which is totally something he would do. And he did a lot on Whirlwind, from what I remember. Actually, Bly was a very different, not player, but personality in the scene years ago. He really only became like this super cool, chill dude that everyone liked and trusted within the last 2 to 3 years, I would say, maybe even just the 2. Before that, of course, he didn't look like he does now, which is the most important part after all. But he also had some notoriety himself. It's just interesting because watching him play on Whirlwind is really bringing me back those memories. But it's not that big of a map, so it's 4 players. There's always that chance to get it wrong, and it is still a bigger map. It's actually not that big. One of the biggest misconceptions of playing in the old days to now is that you thought these maps are big. Back in the day, not comparable to the new ones.
Well, what's interesting is that I'm wondering if this had any bearing on it. Bly made a pretty big deal about making sure that this was on 1v1 mode, not 2v2 mode in the lobby. I mean, I don't think it actually has any bearing whatsoever, but I am actually curious if there's some effect of it that pros know about that we don't. Either way, these Lings are doing a great job. They're finally going to be sold out, but Bly didn't exactly get ahead from this. He's got to use that momentum to get a few more kills than just this.
Yeah, he didn't get ahead. He didn't get what he wanted from it, but it is kind of that in-between attack, which it wasn't including Baneling, so it's not truly all in. But you know, it's also getting a hatchery, right? So he can recover and just continue to utilize the speed advantage for like not even that much longer, actually, to try and get those drones in. Well, TomikuS over-defends, but I don't think TomikuS is in danger of over-defending. I think, if anything, if he does over-defend and makes too many lings, just counterattacks, and suddenly he has speed and Banelings, and Bly doesn't.
Yeah, it's getting to this point where I'm wondering if Bly's just out of the game already. Which I kind of think he might be. He's trying to drone up a little bit behind this, and he's making plenty more lings, so he's not going to be caught defenseless, but I think being behind that Baneling nest tech is actually going to be just that little bit too much.
It's the biggest concern when doing this type of attack, I would say, other than not doing enough damage just straight up, would be the counterattack with the Banelings. But it is something that, like, there's not going to be so many, like, there's not going to be, like, 7, well, actually, there might be 7 Banelings. There's not going to be 15 Banelings, so Queens and a Spine Crawler could try and out-micro and win. It just is obviously much more difficult. And TomikuS is just continuing to make lings right now, so I think he's going to try and counterattack. Also wants to supply block Bly with these queens, I suppose.
a little bit chaotic on both sides. Lings managed to run right through into the main on both halves of the map. However, TomikuS gets cleaned up pretty quickly. Bly still has Lings going strong.
Nice. Well, I really thought that Bly was going to be in a difficult position because TomikuS was looking to counter, but I feel like his timing is kind of gone. Again, not, he still has Banelings over Bly, but I think that there's just enough Queens and a Spinecrawler, and Bly's not letting him on their side of the map to build Banelings. It doesn't matter.
So that's the other funny part of this, too. Like, Bly really pulled ahead in drones with this one on. And his defense, I guess, yeah, it's just solid enough. I really didn't think it would be, but you're right. Like, TomikuS never really got to make more than 1 or 2 Banelings on this side. He never really got to pressure in and stop the spine. As he moves on to Roach Warren, Roaches are going to trump these because TomikuS didn't go super Ling all in, so he doesn't have the numbers to go for a big surround.
Insert Trump joke. Anyway, the Queen snipe, you said Trump something.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. So the Queen side was on Bly's thought process too, but not going to happen. Instead, Queens actually gets surrounded for it with the Banelings protecting his Lings too. It was almost a freebie, but again, not being able to push much farther because just 2 Banelings is not enough to really be scary with the tech. It is just as simple as sniping them with the Queens. And Bly is going to be the one that's still aggressive, despite still not like. The thing is, like, you can skip the Baneliness for a while, but maybe you still get it. He's not getting it at all. TomikuS, on the other hand, I guess this is like too far gone. He can't. I don't think he can drone back from this, but he can still all in. He's got a good Ling count still. It's not him that's been taking any Baneling hits, obviously, and he has the option for Banelings, and now he's gonna have the option for Roaches too. Oh, he's gonna try and drone.
This is where economy is gonna really win out, though. 35 drones to 22. Bly's gonna be able to make so many more Roaches.
Yeah, I think his only hope really would have been just hoping that, like, Bly didn't make enough Roaches, maybe got a couple more drones, maybe was, dancing around with the Lings too much, or his larva was off, because Bly is banking a lot, actually.
It's not a good thing, though. If you're relying on your opponent to make a mistake to have a chance to win, you're in a bad spot.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I really don't think TomikuS can recover. So he built 7 drones with the mineral bank that he had. He still has such a big gas bank. I really thought that was going to go into Roaches and just mass Banelings to try and make something work. And now it's just hanging there.
This round's not too bad. I like the Ravager morphs too to save some of the Roaches. That was really cool to see. Surprised he's still looking to push out and fight, though. He doesn't necessarily know that there's not another surround waiting for him, but Bly's feeling confident to go. And the Ravagers with the Corrosive Bile might be able to pick off some of the Overlords in the middle of the map.
Yeah, not gonna. Ooh, whoops.
Ooh,
daisy.
that's gonna sting a bit.
Yeah, and Bly is supply blocked, so I guess they're both gonna be supply blocked. Highlight of macro right here. Well, even after killing the base, TomikuS isn't still quite made up for everything. I mean, he's been down. He was down 15 workers for like 30 seconds, and then 10 for 30 more seconds, and still down by 4. Up until now, it's been a long process in trying to recover. And it doesn't show that much in the numbers right now. We do, of course, have a layer and an evolution chamber down already for Bly, who is going to be going on Aspire. That's usually the kill move. We haven't really talked about the Baneling upgrade, but I don't think we'll ever will have to. I don't think Baneling speeds are going to make their way back into ZvZs.
It'll be interesting because, I mean, there was that small period of time where we were seeing them actually work out kind of well against Roaches. By the way, I know we missed a couple of subs. We'll get back to them in a moment, guys. This has been a little bit more on the edge of our seat than I expected the ZvZ to be. As these Ravagers come forward, TomikuS, again, like I really want to emphasize, he's behind workers considerably, but his army supply is not so bad. It's not lacking that much. So as the fight comes down, a lot of this can come down to Micro, who can dance better through these Corrosive Biles.
Yeah.
Very nice chance uses for Bly, too.
Well, I called an all-in earlier for TomikuS. It just took him a really long time to get here, but he is, I think, all-inning at this point. No layer, no upgrade, nothing but units on the way here. It won't work. Bly has equal numbers and a better advantage.
She knows all the same moves I know, so I have the advantage.
Well, it'd be like if that was the case, plus Leela's, a foot taller than the universe.
Well, would a foot taller be an advantage or a disadvantage, though?
Dude, watch Dragon Ball Z, man. They go for the kick and the high, and like the high kick that they did, and that was the joke. But instead, like, a foot taller means the foot reaches and connects deeper. That's why Goku lost the first tournament against Master Roshi.
Excellent. Good to know. Thanks for the history lesson.
Yeah, God, know your stuff, man. Anyway. Now the numbers are really representing, that's a word. Representing
Oh my
what has been
god,
happening
he
in this
didn't get the
game.
Overlord.
And that should be it. I guess Bly, it's funny enough, Bly was, he felt forced to cancel his Spire to defend against that. I don't think he had to, but now it's on the way again.
Yeah, and as if the Roaches and Ravages weren't already enough problem for TomikuS says is, the Mutas will certainly seal the deal after. Roach Speed's about to finish up too, so Bly's going to be just able to maneuver so much better through this. Just gets up in the Ravager's faces, brute forces them down. They don't have a lot of health. GG. Bly takes game number 1. So yeah, thank you Juga Jugu. Juga Jugu 1.
Jigga.
Resubs for 12 months. Hey, that's the 1 year mark, man. Send us a message here on the channel. I'll get you a form to fill out and you get some Partoof in real life action. This is about a year ago. Riffin asked me to sub for his Christmas stream. I still haven't canceled my sub. Heart, much love and thanks for everything. Thank you for staying subbed, man. And thank you to Starving Assassin for the brand new sub just now as well. Good stuff.
Cool.
Vanai's going to be on map number 2. We'll see if we can make this. It might take a million years. Because, you know, whatever this thing is with the bug.
It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's Blizzard.
Yeah, it's looking to be about that case. So I'm just going to put an ad break, guys, because it's going to take us like 4 minutes to get the lobby up. We'll be back in 2, though. We'll see you soon. Alright, guys. Just in time. That timed out perfect. Game number 2. Spawning in the lower side of Vanai Research Station. He's currently up 1 game in the series. It's Bly.
In the top position as the orange Zerg, he's TomikuS.
By the way, as we got into this game, we got to briefly see that Mana did beat Kerr 2-1. So he'll be playing the winner of this series, and that'll be the first semifinals we are likely to cast. I'm excited for that because we have been seeing a lot of really silly ZVPs, and I'm not saying that that one will be any better or worse. However, I'm excited to watch it because Mana and Bly are 2 players I would certainly love to see test the limits of what PvZ has to offer right now. Also, Mana's apparently streaming. 1,000 viewers at that, too. Nice.
Nice. Well, the other matchup's probably going to be a TBT. Yeah, so. I'm still interested in watching that unfold, even if we see it a billion times in League League.
Yeah. Also, for Juga Jugu, or anyone else getting the Partoof stuff, just as a general statement here for the 12-month resubs, if you guys are moving or you'll be at a different address or anything like that, just wait to fill out the form. Like, we'll send you this coin at any point within, like, you know, however long it takes. So if you think you won't be at your current address in, say, 2 months from now, just wait 2 months and then fill out the form later.
I do have to warn you, though, Juga, that we have about 500 left over, so they might run out in, like,
Wait.
a
That
year.
can't be right. We've got way more than 500 left over because I'm a goof. Remember? And
You gave me 2 extra bags, right?
Yeah, and I still have like a bunch over here.
Okay. The point is, I mean, it's like they're flying like hotcakes, obviously. So, just, you know, don't take a decade.
So
Alright.
I guess we probably could have brought some attention to it. They both went for the same early pool, which is kind of funny to watch. They both were on the left side of the map. Despite the micro moves out of Bly, though, he loses this fight, and really badly at that.
I love watching Micro just fail.
Yeah, I know,
Just
with
like,
the
I'm
links too.
so
'Cause-
fancy. Oh wait.
Well, Lee Micro, I think, is some of the most hard to pull off in the game because it looks simple, right? Oh, just pull one away and auto attack it back in, but that's not the case because it's all about the distance at which you pull it away, what health point you pull it away from. Like, I don't want to over glorify what is Ling Micro, but it's a pretty big deal.
I'm not saying it's the best Micro in the world, but like it has to be.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong.
No, I think that in my opinion, ZvZ early game is the most fun and the most demanding micro, so I'm actually on board with this. But it's a good thing we're bringing it up because this is not just easy peasy going into roaches. They both went for a 1-base speedling build. They're going to hold off on their hatcheries. Their intent is still to get a hatchery, but of course much later, and depending on how this goes, it might even be allowed to. Like, if someone really screws up here, that could mean the queen dies, the lings die, and then all the drones die, and it's just tap out time anyway, which is like close to what I was getting to, but at the last second takes a couple of nasty Baneling hits.
So Baneling's also managed to connect to Bly's mineral line. Luckily, not a lot dies for it, though. All these drones are almost dead, so if anything gets over here, if these lings get in, they're going to like one-shot a lot of these drones, two-shot some of the drones. So he's going to stack them up and try and keep them alive. That queen's going to do her best to protect her babies, but... Oh, Bly is in such a bad spot from this. No Banelings to fall back to, nothing to rely on. I think this is going to go to game 3.
Yeah, he just straight up lost right there. So it's, we were focusing on the other side of the map. Thought maybe that's where it would be ending. Nope. It was Bly overcommitting and just taking too many decent hits.
I mean, it sucks too because had Bly even killed that queen, it wouldn't have made a difference, I feel, in the way this was going. Thank you, Slade, for the other 100 bits, and then Blue Trepidation for the 5 bits.
GG.
Yeah. So that's gonna bring us to game 3. I only wince at this because now we have to make another lobby.
Yeah, really is gonna be a pain.
If TomikuS can overcome Bly, TomikuS versus Mana, I don't think will be a bad matchup either. But I'm personally rooting for Bly just a little bit here.
So I imagine we can't go to another commercial break, right?
No, do you need to, or?
No, I have this super epic story to tell, though.
Go for it, because I'm gonna spend a million years trying to make a lobby.
Okay, so it's up in chat, but I actually was hanging out with Tasteless earlier, and he was like, "I'm going arcade after this," in the comment. I was like, "Hells yeah!" Because I've seen the arcades around here. It's actually a pretty popular place for arcades, just coincidentally. But from what we'd experienced in arcades, the one in like the movie theater is kind of cool, but even that we like wasted $12.
No, that was a fucking stupid arcade. I was not okay with that arcade.
But like the problem with any arcade when you're lucky enough to find one is that they've mostly just turned into like, yeah, like you gotta like, you know, buy stuff, or it's just like buying or getting plushies, or it's like Dance Dance Revolution plus like Fruit Ninja. Like it's not Capcom versus Marvel. It's not, you know, Tekken. It's not that fun. But we actually went to like a super awesome one because there's like 2 different types, I guess, in Korea. One is like full of all this like virtual reality, BB gun shooter, baseball bat type places, like big attractions. And then there's this one that was like 4 levels, and the bottom level was full of like Tekken, because apparently people love Tekken here. But also some really cool, fun games. So like, we played. They had one of those arcade games that has like 500 games from like all the way from the original Nintendo up to like the first PlayStation type deal. That was a ton of fun. I played Bubble Bobble. That's what it's called, right? Which I haven't played in forever.
It's the little dinosaur guys, right?
Yeah, it's the dinosaur guys and they shoot bubbles. And then I played Marvel vs. Capcom. But so he introduced me to this new game, which I thought sounded really lame.
Pause for the interrupt. Try hosting Echo if you can while this goes on. I'm getting really frustrated with this. Sorry, continue.
I'll let you know when it's done entering lobby. So he introduced me to this game. Thought it was going to be lame, but you know, like when you go to like the dentist's office and it actually worked really fast. Nice. And you have those like tell it into 2 pictures and like circle them. That game?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had an entire game, like video game for that. And I was like, it's really going to be that fun. It's like super easy, like the one from the dentist's office. Like, I don't know if I want to do this. But we like got addicted to it, and we weren't that good, man. We thought we were baller. We got to like level 5.
Was this like just you and Tasteless? Like,
yeah.
Just the 2 of
you? Yeah. And, who else am I inviting here?
Me.
Right. So, we got to level 5, and we were like, okay, we can totally beat it. Like, enter, like, you know, like 10 coins later, and we haven't gotten to, like, level 4 again. So we're like, damn, this game's really hard. And we leave to play, like, another thing. He played one of those, like, Beat Mania games. And we come back, and there's a couple, right? Like, and it's a very popular like, couples game. There's a guy and a girl, and they were baller. They're at level 19, and every time I watched, they'd be like, you know, they had a little countdown that shows you the preview, and then the timer goes down, and the chick would just be like, boop, boop. I get 2 immediately out of 5, and I'm like, what the shit is this? And I watch them, and they're like in sync too, because they have like a little mini game. Oh, I'm getting global timeouts. It looks so promising.
I'm getting told I need to upgrade my copy of StarCraft 2 again.
Dear God. Well,
Like, there wasn't even a patch. What happened? Like, I get it. Like, you patch the game and someone forgets to type a 1 when there should have been a 0 or something, right? Like, okay. These things happen. There wasn't a patch to the god game. Like, it's just something just broke for no reason, and that's not a good thing.
yeah.
Well, I already relogged once. I'll try again.
It's not working on anyone, so
let's try hosting without the mod maybe and see. I mean, it's clear at this point the mod I don't think has a bearing on whether it works or not, but
it also made Daybreak when I clearly made Echo.
It made Daybreak?
I literally like quit out of the lobby and it put me back to like, you know, select extension mod and it says Echo. Like that makes no sense.
This happened with somebody who was trying to make Apotheosis or something the other day too, I recall.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got a bit distracted by all this. Legion donated $5 a few moments ago and says, "Isn't StarCraft in life great?" I want to say normally StarCraft is great, okay? Most of the time StarCraft is great. Oh my god, it's so loud. I hate this load screen. But this is not the case today.
It might kind of be working. I got TomikuS in here. I got you in here.
Have they ever... So, like, the Nova load screen was really cool the first time I saw it. Same with, like, the WCS one with Artosis yelling and all these other ones. But after one time, it's so loud and obnoxious. And every time I relog for this Nova mission pack and I gotta hear, like, the siege tank sieging up with the Viking spinning its gun, I'm like, I wish I just didn't use sounds at all. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bly relogged because he was getting timeout things. So that's the last one we need. We're almost in here.
So close.
But like finishing touches on that story. There's two more, like finishing touches on that story and like one more part after that. They had like a mini game. They got to level 20 out of 40 or 50 or something like that. So they had like a mini game where it was like those like match the tiles type thing. They were literally like crisscrossing to hit the same tile. And Tayson just looks at me and he's like, "That's true love, man." And I was like, jeez, Korean, God. No.
I wonder what part of Tasteless is like, by the way. Like I know that he probably likes you and thinks you're cool and all that too, but it's like, what part of him, what percentage of him is just like, oh my god, finally another white person that's not Artosis to hang out with, like. Oh.
No, he's like a ton of like really good friends. But he's like basically like convincing him over to Korea. Bly actually joined, so we're almost ready. But the last thing we played was they actually imported like a bunch of Japanese humongous games, like Beat Maniacs. There was like a ton of other ones. We played what has to be the most stereotypical Japanese video game with like the loud announcer and the absurd mini games. I'm gonna take a video of it because I just can't explain how dumb this shit is. It's like one of them was a video game where you took pictures of like the models but not like the bad things next to it, like fruit and stuff, and it just was the weirdest experience, but it was so good. It was like Mario Party except as Japanese as you can make it. Cool. Mario Party is technically Japanese, but whatever. So that bought enough time for Echo. TLDR, arcades are great. I love arcades. Also, these weren't expensive as fuck like the other arcade. This was 50 cents a game.
Is that
You're
it?
in this game,
Nothing
right?
else? Nothing else?
I TLDR'd it. That's the end, obviously.
Okay. I don't know. You just kept tailing on, so I want to make sure you're all finished. We're good. So let's get into the game then. It's map number 3, and it's been a hell of a tough road just to get the lobbies up, so appreciate. We're going to be in the bottom right with the orange Zerg TomikuS.
In the top left, as the blue Zerg, he is Bly.
So this is actually one of those days now where I am super duper extra crossing my fingers and hoping that nobody disconnects, because I don't even want to know if Recover Game works or not. Like, I'm just imagining not.
That was such a surprise when you found out that it was broken. It's one of those things you're going to find out when you have to test it too.
You know what was a big surprise to find out was broken, actually?
What?
The lobbies today.
Oh.
I feel really bad because I'm in the Top Dogs channel from where we're casting their stuff, and I could see, granted in French, very frustrating French words coming out about the lobbies over there as well. So I guess we're not the only ones plagued with these issues. It is just pretty much everybody in Europe today.
What's that really stereotypical French disappointed phrase?
Sacre bleu.
That is one of them. Not what I was thinking of, but that works. That's not even actually. Okay, yeah. Something like that. So my game sounds aren't working now. It's cool.
Well, TomikuS is setting out across the map with these lings. He's going to take them around a sneaky route so the Overlord won't be able to scout them so easily. This will be cool to see. Thank you to Twix. Donates $5 and says, how do you have a rave in Ethiopia? You just...
Oh no. You know that was going to be bad when Ethiopia was in it. Come on now. Good job reading ahead, though.
Yeah, shout out for the donation. I'm sorry, dude. I'm not finishing that. I will say, I love that joke. I think that joke's hilarious. But since we're casting the Corsair Cup, sponsored by Corsair, I'm going to hold off on finishing that. Alright, so these lings did manage to fully infiltrate their way into the base, but the queen spawns just in the nick of time. The drones are pulled away, and maybe this isn't so bad for Bly.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's really good queen positioning. So a bit of a... I mean, he's actually going to lose every single ling here. Yeah, especially now that he attacked.
Is he zombie grub? Because it looks like a single ling got out alive.
You know what, I was going to say
be...
every single low ling, but whatever. Do whatever.
Too much time playing DDR, not enough time learning how StarCraft works.
I didn't
obviously.
play any DDR. Don't lie to people.
Yo,
God.
I was surprised how good I was at DDR when we played it in Toronto.
I really hated that DDR. Like, I know I was hitting the buttons, but it was not hitting the buttons.
You know, you had the same problem at Disneyland with the Buzz Lightyear thing.
Oh yeah, I know, it was very frustrating.
The
It's one of those
controls,
things you sound like a liar.
I know. Zombie Grub's actually in the right here, but I'm just saying, like, sure seems to have a lot of controller problems whenever Rifkin's involved.
You know what? I'm wearing Converse this time. I'm gonna try that DDR machine again and take like a picture of my high scores.
I'll be super impressed, dude. I will wait with bated breath on Twitter. I'm gonna refresh
so badly and bubble bobble, I swear.
For the next 18 hours, I'm gonna refresh my Twitter so hardcore, just waiting. I can't.
Better. I bet that arcade's 24/7. That would be like Korea.
Alright, so this is a nice wall-off tactic out of TomikuS to block Bly from running through. As we see, it's not really letting Bly in, so what else happens, but Bly moves onto a lair instead of going for roaches, which I think is a really interesting move. He obviously knows it's roaches coming out of TomikuS, and in fact, the wall actually finishes up, so that's actually going to work as a bit of a roadblock against TomikuS. As we see, he's going to try and knock it down. This gives time for Bly not only to have his third base work, but also move towards the, what I'm guessing is Spire. I mean, he does have a roach warren, and he's making some roaches, but oh, sweet left field. What is this?
Okay, this makes sense. It's funny, I was trying to, gather my memories here and think of what was ZvZ on Echo back when it was on the map. I could not remember, but a Nidus Swarm on 2 bases is a classic move, map or not. Get that little surprise in, because, Bly right now is probably thinking, okay, he got, 2 bases very safely, he's going to be slowly trying to take his third base, and then it's going to be a surprise, but TomikuS probably ideally would have hoped for... Oh, wait a second. Wait, did he see that? Did he even see that? They just got in position. What? Well, anyway, I was going to say TomikuS is probably hoping that Bly was
that there must be map hacks in play because it's the only viable solution?
No, what I think happened is Bly was like, he's gonna do something that I do all the time. I just worry.
It's such a massive shutdown to kill that one worm already. The next one comes down to be a reinforcement point, but already 100 minerals, 100 gas out the window, and TomikuS is not coming in here with a supply lead. He does come into this with an upgrade lead over Bly, but this is just gonna be like Bly's on top of this, like to the point where I'm about to call map hack. Seriously, this guy is nailing it.
Yeah. I'm like pretty sure, like, it's very possible that he's still surprised, right? Because Bly doesn't go for as many negative storms as he used to, and it's just not that popular of a build anymore. But he would be the guy to be like, you know what I would do if I was on 2 bases?
No, I agree. That's actually probably exactly what it is. I mean, I want to make it clear, guys. I'm making jokes when I say map packs. Bly has done his fair share of negative storms. He knows, I think, every map that's ever existed where to put them.
Yeah. TomikuS, I mean, besides getting his negative storms can't like kill right off the bat, also I just don't think he'd be doing very well against Bly, who was building roaches.
I mean, it's 27 roaches over 17. I'm actually surprised Bly went for the roaches. I really, truly thought that layer was going to be for Aspire and not for speed, not for the upgrades, but this is him winning the fight out when it comes to the roach game. And let's not forget, TomikuS, even if he holds here, which he's not, he's still behind the 3rd base. Bly's happily mining off his. Yeah,
I really think TomikuS was hoping that Bly was going to go for Aspire, so just all types of unfortunate play.
I think
TomikuS is definitely for this game.
Well, it's weird because TomikuS did go for the negative storm first, and we see a negative storm put down as a response to Aspire a lot of the time, and it's actually not a bad one. So I don't know about that, but either way, like, yeah, this just works out so much better for Bly. He's up 10 workers, he's up to 3rd base, he's been mining for so much longer. This is should be Bly moving on to the semifinals.
Yep. Facing off against Mana. And it is Keen versus Alive on the other side.
Oh my god, are we going to have a Terran actually make it to the finals, but then possibly even win?
Maybe?
I actually hope the Terran all lose today.
So that we can get a buff.
You know what? That's probably better than what I was going to say, so yeah. Because if the Terran keeps losing everything, then Blizzard might actually buff something, which would be nice.
No.
I would actually be okay with the current state of everything if... I think when Blizzard made a lot of the changes for this patch, they were looking at things that were problems here and now and not considering like why things were made in the past. Like TvZ, for example, the Viper's proven to be the biggest issue, right? And a lot of people are very upset about, myself included in this list. And I think like the Viper was brought in for very specific reasons. But with all these buffs you've given, now it's just overkill.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of like questions about their thought process, but
well,
it is what it is. GG.
GG. Bly takes the series 2-1. Blizzard has a straight up history of redundancies, though. Take a look at the Assimilator. It still has double the health of all the other gas mining buildings, just because they never cared to go back and clean it up, so to speak. Like, I don't know. It's frustrating to look at things like that and consider stuff like this. You can't help but think like someone's being lazy.
Maybe. Yeah.
Well, either way, guys, that's going to be the first semifinals coming up. Mana versus Bly, then Keen versus Stylish. We'll go to a quick break, and we'll see you guys in 2 minutes.